Today we're working on 8.2, day 2, where we are writing linear equations. So what we need to know is that a linear equation has graphs that are straight lines. The graph of a linear equation contains all the solutions that make the equations true. So yesterday in day 1, our focus was writing the equations, and today we're going to take those equations and we're actually going to graph them. So let's get started. Today is going to be split into multiple parts. There's part A, there's part B, there is part C. Now, a couple of things that I want to point out to you. First of all, part A is a problem that we saw previously. Caleb is X years old. His sister is 10 years older than he is. If his sister is Y years old, write an equation. So I'm going to check just really quickly to see if I still have it up. Writing linear equations. Yes. This is our notes from the previous day. We can see that exact problem, and we can see that we already have the linear equation. We did all the steps of breaking down the words, which were really great, but we just need y equals x plus 10. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to write it here. So it says, what is the linear equation? The linear equation was y equals x plus 10. So now we're going to use our linear equation to help us solve part B, where we're going, if you notice, we were given Caleb's age, and that is going to, we're going to use that to plug in for x. So just really quickly, Caleb's age is the independent variable. Independent's always going to be the top one, the one given to us. And our dependent is always going to be the bottom, or the one that's not given, the one we're trying to find. Okay, important for us to know that in a minute when we graph. All right, x plus 1, or x plus 10. So 1 plus 10 is 11. 2 plus 10 is 12. All I'm doing is plugging in for that equation. I'm going to put 3 in for x. 3 plus 10 is 13. 4 plus 10 is 14. 5 plus 10 is 15. Now I'm done with step part B, and I'm going to put that into the graph in just a minute. In order to put it on our coordinate plane, we have to talk about what these mean. So we now have two numbers which give us an ordered pair that tell us the location of the points on our graph. Although we can look and figure out where that is, I like to write it out like a location to help me remember that I have to go over and then up in this case. So our first ordered pair is 1, 11. Our second ordered pair is 2, 12. Our third ordered pair is 3, 13. Our fourth one is 4, 14. And the last one is 5, 15. All right, now I'm going to use those to help me know what goes where on my coordinate plane. It's going to tell me where my points are. Those are going to be my location. These points, when graphed, should give me a line. So let's do it. The next step is to take that information and put it on our graph. A couple of things that are important. Our independent variable in this case was our x. It is going on our x-axis. So that was Caleb's age. So I'm going to label Caleb's age. And then the other one was sister. So I'm going to label that sister's age. Now if you notice, these are two number lines. A number line going horizontally and one going vertically. And I need to take the numbers. I can take the numbers for Caleb. I actually need the numbers that go along with Caleb. So next to Caleb are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's a nice interval. I'm going to go ahead and use that. This one would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could continue going, but you don't necessarily have to. I'm going to look back at sister. If you notice, I start at 11 and end at 15. I need my number line to show what I'm counting by. Here they counted by ones, which is really great. But if I started like this, That looks like when I go from 0 to 11, that tells me I'm counting by 11s. I actually don't want to count by 11. So I'm going to use this very handy, let's see if it's up here, symbol that looks like a heartbeat to me, and it's called a skip in data. You need this when you are not going, like when I was going from 0 to 1, I was counting by 1, so I didn't need a skip in data. When I go from 0 to 11, it's kind of like I want to say 1, 2, skip a few, okay? I want to skip a few when I go from 0 to 11. So I'm going to use my skip in data. Now I can count by ones, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and I could continue on if I wanted to. Once I have that data, I'm going to go back to my ordered pairs, 1, 11, 2, 12, 3, 13, 4, 14, and 5, 15, and I'm going to put a dot on those. So it was over 1, up 11, over 2, up 12, over 3, up to 13, over 4, up to 14, over 5, up to 15, and then we're going to use a straight edge to prove that that is in fact a straight line. And if you can't see your dots, you just make your dots bigger. Your dots need to be visible. And that's all we have to do for that problem. The key is to make sure you have the correct labels and numbers in the right place. And to do that, we look at our independent and our dependent variable. Independent's always going to go on the bottom. Dependent's always going to go on the side. We can't do anything until we know that bottom number. Let's try another one. This was a problem from our page as well. A rhombus has sides the length of r centimeters. If the perimeter of the rhombus is p, express p in terms of r. So our algebraic expression there was perimeter equals 4 times s. Oh, sorry, 4 times r. Our sides were r, 4 times r. And it doesn't have it here, but our length was r and our perimeter was p. So I want to put those there so that I know. Also, when we wrote our linear equation, we identified the independent and dependent variable. This one is independent. We could write ourselves, this one's going on the bottom, or the x. This one is dependent, and it's going on the side. That's to help us make sure that we get things in the correct location. Now, we are going to take this linear equation and we're going to plug our r in and tell us what our p is. Okay, so let me erase that real quick because I was just trying to show you what I was talking about. So 4 times 1 is 4. Oops. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 times 5 is 20. So now I want to take those and write my ordered pairs. My first location are points at 1, 4. My second one's at 2, 8. 3, 12, 4, 16, and 5, 20. So those are where my points are going to go on my graph. Important, if I look, my length goes on the bottom, and I'm counting 1 through 5. So over here, I'm going to write length. I'm actually also going to label it R, and it just was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My side was perimeter. And in this one, they're counting 4, 8, 12, 6, 20. When I go from 0 to 4, I want to count by 4s, so I don't need a skip in data there. You would only need a skip in data if you did not want to count by 4s, if you wanted to count by a different amount. I can't go from 0 to 20 because I don't have enough lines. I could count by different numbers if I wanted. I could count by 2s. 1 won't work, but I could count by 2s. All right, let's graph them. 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 12, 4, 16, and 5, 20. I'm going to connect the dots to show, hey, that's a line. And a mistake that some people make is they forget those labels of perimeter and length, or they mix up their numbers. So I find it, writing ourselves those notes about dependent and independent are super helpful with that. Our next problem is about Isaiah and Miguel, okay? It says, Isaiah has H baseball cards, Miguel has 7 more baseball cards than Isaiah. If Miguel has K, how many do we have? We already found this algebraic expression, or this linear equation, I mean. It is K equals H plus 7. Isaiah is independent. Miguel is dependent. So let's see if I plug all of my H's, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into my expression. 1 plus 7 gives me 8. 2 plus 7 gives me 9. 3 plus 7 gives me 10. 4 plus 7 gives me 11. And 5 plus 7, gives me 12. Okay, Isaiah is independent, which means he's going to go on the bottom, and we're counting by 5s. Isaiah. Oh, I think I spelled his name wrong. A-I-A-H, and he is H. That means Miguel is on the side. Miguel. Okay, down here, I'm going to just count by 1s again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then for Miguel, I'm going from 8 to 12, but I can't just start at 8. That tells me I'm counting by 8s, so I'm going to use that skip in data symbol. Then I can start with 8, go 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to graph it. I have to go over 1 up to 8, over 2 up to 9, over 3 up to 7, over 4 up to 11, over 5 up to 12, and I'm going to graph my line. Okay, and there it is. Now, this would extend, it would go down into other quadrants. If we travel to the left and up high, it would continue on. Know that your graph doesn't always have to look that way. It could instead, I'm just going to give you an example. It could instead make a line like this through your graph. Your line could look like this. Your line could look like this. It's not always positive going up. It could be going down instead. So know that your line is not always going to look perfect like this. In regards to it starts off low and gets higher, it might look differently. But this is a great segue or a great way to get you ready and set up for 8th grade as you work on slope of a line. Okay, so that's what our linear equations are going to look like. That's how we graph them.